Okay, good afternoon, young men.
Good afternoon.
Okay, Mr. Begansky, our superintendent at, CPS and Capital Prep Schools. Can you please talk a little bit about,
Well, the overview is to train and teach new staff about the ethos of Capital Prep. So we've broken down the 3 days into individual ones where yesterday we looked at Capital Prep as a family. Today we're looking at rigor, and tomorrow, we're looking at implementation and the academics. And so the young men that are next to me today were part of a group effort on Mr. Border's part to show staff different ways to include their creative spirit into the classroom. And so they did a borderline report, and both of them were part of the crew the production crew, which is a really cool way to engage students in class and also to challenge them in using their own creativity to improve their oral skills, which is what Winton was trying to show today.
awesome. And how do you think that this is going to help the new illuminators navigate Capital Prep?
Well, I think what it does is it'll help open their eyes to looking for ways to incorporate more of themselves into the classroom. I think sometimes illuminators or teachers make mistakes in just sticking to a plan, looking at a piece of paper and saying I have to be here and there at yay times, and losing focus of the fact that they have clients in the class, and the clients are these guys. And if they're not paying attention and if they're not enthusiastic or interested in what's being taught, it doesn't matter how great that lesson plan is. And if the teacher or illuminator is going to focus on hitting marks instead of making connections, then they're liable to miss their overall mark, which is to educate.
Awesome. And to the two young men, can you tell us a little bit about what your experience have been so far in being a part of this professional development?
All right. My experience was it's a great experience also, to always help out. Whenever I can volunteer, I always do it because it's always a good experience, to be around such great illuminators, that always willing to help you out with anything, inside the classroom or outside the classroom. So whenever I can give that, I can give back to them. It's always a good opportunity.
Experience for me today was just learning, I guess, the new faces. It's just learning the people that want to help us become better as citizens and prospering in our education.
Okay, so the last question to the young men, and I want you to speak to Mr. Begansky. Why is it important to have or to be a part of a social justice school?
For us to, I guess, be like an agent of change, and, for us to really impact not just our community, but like the whole world, I guess.
Yeah, learn about the impacts of not only happening inside here, but also what's happening outside of America, around the world, about all the injustices that's going on, and how can we make a change here so it can spread and make sure that it gets to around the world at some point, So yeah.
And Mr. Begansky, why is social justice or learning about social justice important to you and the development of Capital Prep?
Well, earlier what Kevin said is really important, and something that Dr. Perry says all the time is to whom much is given, much is expected. And so we take a lot of time and of our own personal time and to shower students with love and to really care for them. Kevin's right, a lot's been given for him, and then look what happened. We need him. We called him yesterday afternoon, probably with less than 12 hours notice. Said, hey dude, we need you here, and he's here. He's in full uniform in summer. School hasn't started yet. Same thing with Mark. And so I think that these two clearly learned the lesson. But also it's important that when students go out into the real world after they're away from us, away from the people that love them unconditionally, because outside in the real world it's not that way, that they have the skills to be able to affect change in their own personal lives. And so that's not an easy thing to do. It's very easy to just kind of accept whatever it is as status quo. I have a crappy job. I guess I just got to deal with it. I'm in a crappy relationship. I guess I just got to deal with it. Conditions here at school, we have to eat crappy food. I guess I just got to deal with it. And so in the long run, you may not be able to make the change that you want, but at least you can work towards it. And so I think that we're teaching these folks how to make sure that they live and have access to the life that they want. Doesn't mean it's always going to work out that way, but at least they can work towards that. And so I think that social justice means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And for us, we want folks to have equal access whatever it is that they want. And so we're really trying to show them that there are steps and processes and mindsets that will allow that to happen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a day and a half so far. What's been your overall feelings or perception about PD so far?
I think that today has been trying to find the best words, I guess, to describe today. But I think that when I initially came, I realized that the space was like warm, it was hospitable, it was familial. But now today, I'm getting to know a little bit more of what it is that makes Capital Prep. I'm recognizing more of the complexity of Capital Prep and the nuance of Capital Prep in really profound ways, so that I know how to be a part of this family, right? Because you have to understand the nature of what it is before you can enjoy that thing. And so it's been really profound to kind of get to know more of what makes up the fabric and the social landscape of this institution.
That makes me so happy because I was fearful that people would want to get into the nitty-gritty and not want to skip over this. And I think as we expand, that if we don't know this as a whole family, we'll lose what we are and become any other charter school around, you feel me?
Right.
So that's what we want to stay away from.
I spoke about Cprep family from my friend Megan. She put me on, she told me it was a great school. She told me about how like the culture of the school was very family oriented, so I really like that. I feel like in our communities today we need more organizations and schools where staff and the students in that school feel more like family. So I wanted to work in a community and a school where people feel more like family and they can grow and learn from one